This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we have discussed some points right at the last. We have stopped our discussion at this point right yesterday. So coming to this points, discussion points, we'll be seeing about the advantages of automation from a service delivery perspective, like how much cost does it impact the project, like the cost spent on automation person remains the same throughout the project life cycle, whereas the cost spent on a manual testing team increases on a build basis, because as soon as yesterday the last point that I have discussed was, as soon as we reach the last build, as soon as we reach our application to the production stage, then we keep on adding more people, we keep on adding some senior researchers, senior management people from the testing side to do some speedy testing, to do some quick testing, to do some a good analysis at the last moment. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
And we have seen some statistics yesterday. Yes. So before I go to the slide, I would like to discuss a couple of points with respect to different automation tools that we have in the market. So there are a lot of automation tools in the market. Hope this notepad is clear, visible to everyone. Hope this notepad is visible to everyone. RPA, QTP, Cypress, recently launched, Test Case Studio, and Selenium, Tosca, RPA, QTP, Cypress, Test Case Studio, and what else do we have? We have a lot number of tools in the market. As of now, we'll take this like last tool that I remember, Automation Anywhere. So clear. These are the popular automation tools that are being used in the market, right? As everyone has heard. Clear?
Yeah.
For the people who are already into testing and who are already working, so you must have heard this names right a lot number of times, like what is Selenium, Tosca, RPA, QTP, Cypress, Test Case Studio, Automation Anywhere. There are a lot number of tools that they have used in the market. So coming to this, we are discussing only Selenium and why. What is it so special about Selenium that stands out among all the tools in the market? Clear? But before that, I would like to mention one more thing. Tosca is a paid tool. You will be having a trial version for 30 days only. So most of the companies will not be interested in having a paid tool in their organization, because they're not so sure about how the automation, the concept of automation pans out in their organization. And ultimately it's a paid tool. So tool means obviously you'll have a dedicated support, you'll have a lot of things, but we have to adjust to the requirements of the tool. We have to ensure that the application meets the standards of the tool. So the problem with this is not all applications may or may not be feasible with Tosca. If you are working on a dynamic application, maybe sometimes Tosca can be broken. Here, RPA and QTP are both paid tools. It is a paid tool, and it is a paid tool which is too costly, to afford, and works mostly on enterprise applications. Enterprise applications means you have seen the Oracle Enterprise Edition tools. You have seen some SAP Enterprise Edition tools, right? Packaged applications, in short, to be said. Packaged applications means you have a Oracle software where they use for billing systems in many of the shops. They use SAP software for billing systems in most of the shops. Those are all called enterprise-based applications. That is packaged tools. That means there are no more changes in the tools, and RPA works in those kinds of tools only. It will not work for the two application, for the web applications which is changing dynamically. And similarly, we have to follow the guidelines driven by the RPA team as well as the QTP team, and it works only for packaged applications. It doesn't work much on web-based applications, and hopefully RPA and QTP have an advantage that they work exclusively on desktop-based applications also. Clear everyone?
So basically Tosca is also for static application, right?
Basically, Tosca is also for static applications, but these days, given the enhancements, they are also working for web applications. But at the end of the day, it's a tool. You have to follow the language that is given to it. Yes or no?
Right.
Cypress is one of the open source tools that has come into picture recently. But the problem is that we can use only JavaScript here. JavaScript with Visual Studio mostly. Clear?
And Cypress is used for web application or
Yeah,
desktop
Cypress is used
also.
for web applications. Because this is a recently launched tool. They are trying to compete Selenium these days. Clear? Test Case Studio is also open source tool, which is going to be the talk of the town in next couple of years. Not right now. It's still under development stage. Clear? And this tool will work for the organizations. Like in the future, what it will be means that sometimes some organizations want to do a drag and drop coding of automation, some sort of drag and drop, like record and play kind of automation. So it will work in those kind of applications, mostly the Test Case Studio. And it is not a simple recording tool where it records and play. There are a lot more dynamics involved while recording and playing during the record and play. And this tool is yet to be developed, yet to be coming for enhancements. But this can be the tool that can be serving as an alternative to Selenium in the coming down the line. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Automation Anywhere, again, it's a paid tool at the end of the day. Paid tool means the same thing applies. You have to follow the standards that the team has, that the software team has designed that, and you have to make sure the application works according to the tool at the end of the day. Clear? Even Cypress is also a tool, guys, at the end of the day. Cypress is also a tool at the end of the day. Clear? Now, if you jot down among the 7 different automation testing tools, what are the open source tools that we have? Selenium, Cypress, Test Case Studio. Correct me if I'm wrong. Clear?
Yeah.
So in this, what are the pros of Selenium? First thing is open source. Second thing is flexibility. Flexibility in terms of what? Like among all the 7 tools that we have seen, the 6 tools, what is happening means we have to ensure that the application is in sync with the tool. Whereas in Selenium, there is no hard and fast rule that some applications might not work for Selenium, some applications will work for Selenium. No, any kind of a web application, we can try integrating with Selenium and you can start our tasks. Clear? Let it be one of the most dynamic websites or one of the most dynamic websites or one of the most toughest websites that you see. Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
Can be written in multiple programming languages. Such as Java, C#, Python, Ruby, Perl, JavaScript, etc. The list goes on and on. Clear? Because recently we have seen Test Cafe also. I mean, Test Cafe has a scripting tool. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Can be written in multiple programming languages such as C# and all. Yes. And the software size is also less. Which makes the setup easy. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
And open source and allows cross-browser testing also. Cross-browser testing means, as I've discussed yesterday, we have to test the same application in Mozilla, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, and Safari, Opera Safari. Okay. Selenium offers support for Chrome, Mozilla, Safari, IE, Opera. Clear? These are the major browsers that is used in most of the countries. Clear? Clear, everyone? Not even a single tool among the 7 tools that we have discussed, not even a single tool will offer cross-browser testing, guys. Not that effective as Selenium. Maybe Cypress can give a chance, but not that effective as Selenium, because Selenium offers support for lot number of browsers and of lot number of languages also, because not everyone is comfortable with JavaScript. Right? Some are comfortable with Python, some are comfortable with Java, C#, some are comfortable with Java, that we are going to discuss in this training class. Clear? Reusability also. Clear? We can, the Selenium code that we have written can be reused in multiple places. Clear? You can reuse the same code in multiple environments also, in multiple virtual machines, multiple servers, etc., etc. Clear?
Yeah.
Then it also allows parallel testing. What do you mean by parallel testing? Means suppose you have 10 test cases, and generally what we do in manual team, as a manual tester, you try to execute one case after the other, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So in parallel, what is this feature called parallel testing? If you want, it will execute all the 10 different test cases in 10 different browsers at a time. That is called as parallel testing. Clear? 10 cases will be executed simultaneously. Suppose if you have 10 test cases in your suit, it will execute 10 cases simultaneously in 10 different browsers, 10 different Chrome browsers only, 10 different Firefox browsers, 10 different Safari browsers, or 10 different IE browsers. Clear?
Yeah.
Any other doubts, anyone? Because I get only one response. That means I can
we do
assume.
performance testing with it?
Mega, can you repeat your point, please?
Yeah. Can we do performance testing as well with this?
No. We only, if possible, like there's a remote possibility to do load testing at max. Clear? Like yesterday, I've given one scenario, right? If you have to make multiple payments for a single account, that's called load testing, right? When you do continuously the payments for a single account. Yes or no?
Yeah. Got your point.
And constant updates are provided for this tool. Bigger community or large number of forums for discussion of issues and resolution. Clear? And we have 2 more points. Yes. And it's easy to learn, guys. Selenium is easy to learn compared to other tools. Clear all of you? Clear, everyone? The advantages of Selenium?
Yeah.
How about others? Are they clear with this point?
Yes, Rahul, it's clear.
Okay. Cool. So now we have seen the pro. I forgot to add the pros of Selenium in my PPT. That is why I'm explaining it to you exclusively. Now, similarly, there are cons of Selenium also. What are the cons of Selenium? Selenium is particularly used for web-based applications only. It cannot extend the support to Windows applications or mobile applications. So if you want to use Selenium for Windows-based or mobile-based applications, there are some derived tools called Appium. Appium is used for automating mobile-based applications. It's a derived version of Selenium. And if you want to automate Windows-based applications, there is a derived version of Selenium called as Vinium. Vinium came into the market, but it did not have much success rate. And its last release is dated, last update is given in January 2020. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yeah, the thing you are saying, like Selenium derived tools, what does that mean?
Because basically Selenium is only used for web-based applications. Is this point clear, right?
Right.
So Selenium as a tool cannot directly automate mobile applications or Windows-based applications because it does not have that capability. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So what does the team of Selenium do? They have created one more tool called as Appium for automating mobile-based applications.
Okay.
And they have created one more tool called as Vinium for automating desktop-based applications.
So that Appium and Vinium will work like Selenium. It's just they have that added those features in those two, right?
Yeah. They have added those features, and the spying of elements or finding of the objects is completely different. You cannot even compare with Selenium and these tools. Okay.
Okay.
And Selenium does not have any inbuilt reporting feature. And Selenium is not accurate when handling dynamic web elements. And this point, I would like to explain more about this point. Selenium is not accurate while dealing with handling dynamic web elements. Means yes, the point is right, but to a certain extent, not completely. Why? Because if you have down the line of the course, if you have a greater knowledge of your experts, and if you can handle the web page properly, then this not accurate can turn out to be accurate. Clear? Clear?
Then in what cases it is not accurate?
In
In
what
web
cases?
sorry?
Like when you work on sports-based applications, when you're trying to automate sports-based applications, the application gets refreshed for every 30 seconds, right?
Right.
There are some applications where the application pages get refreshed for every 30 seconds or 15 seconds, right? Yes or no? Like example, stock market site, where it updates for every 5 seconds. In those kinds of sites, Selenium is not that well, does not have that good results.
Okay. So what will be the alternate tool for that site? That kind of site?
Actually, as per the market standards, what people suggest is we should not even automate such kind of tool, because problem is that no other tool apart from Selenium, no other tool is capable enough of handling these many dynamics. Frankly, to be honest, maybe Cypress can do it for till a certain extent, but I don't see any other tool coming into the picture. Instead, we always prefer to do it manually when the pages of when the elements are changing after every 5 or 10 seconds. In that situation, then we have to go for a manual testing only. Clear? So Selenium has some challenges in handling frames and pop-ups. Means suppose if there is a browser-based pop-ups, then we can handle it. There are some there will be some other pop-ups or alert messages that will be coming within the application, right, from the top. Clear? Apart from the normal browser alert messages, there will be some other alert messages coming, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So in order to handle such kind of pop-ups, it is very difficult via Selenium. It's not impossible, it is very difficult. And when it comes to handling frames, you have to know how many frames you have to switch. And if a shadow frame comes, it is very difficult for us to handle those kind of concepts also. It has challenges, but it's not impossible. It has some challenges while handling some frames or pop-ups. Clear?
Yes, sir.
We'll discuss about frames and pop-ups in our subsequent Selenium sessions also. Clear? So and there is one more thing, guys. Whenever you're launching any application via Selenium, the application speed drastically reduces. Clear? application speed will be reduced by some, I don't know the exact figure, by what percentage it will be reduced. Application speed will be reduced compared to an application that is launched in a manual browser. So with that, what happens, we'll have some synchronization issues, page load issues, timeout issues. So we have to handle all such issues in our code. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Can you please repeat this point, Rahul?
Okay, sure. So what happens means whenever you're trying to launch your application via your Selenium, the speed of the application will be reduced by a margin, will be reduced a lot, like 20, will be reduced by 30%, you can say. So when the application speed is reduced by 30%, obviously you'll have the page loading issues, the synchronization speed of the application, and you'll face a lot of timeout issues, right? Yes or no?
Okay, got it.
So whenever you launch application on a normal browser, it'll be properly loaded, it'll be properly handle everything well and good. Whereas it's like if you launch a application that is too heavy, there is a concept called as heavy applications, right, in the market.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to automate on a heavy application, then obviously you will face a lot of synchronization issues, a lot of timeout issues, a lot of page loads issues, and that turns out to be a nightmare for any kind of automation tester to handle such kind of issues. So you don't have a direct solution for this. You have to take the other way around and solve these issues. Clear?
Okay. Right.
As I've discussed yesterday, we cannot automate captcha and barcodes because those are related to image processing. Clear so far?
Yeah.
So similarly, does not automate captcha, barcodes, and fingerprints also. Clear? So for reporting purposes, it depends on some third-party tools like TestNG, Cucumber. We'll be discussing both these plugins and features in our subsequent sessions. Clear? There is no since Selenium is open source, if you have any issues, you have to go to some forums or you have to visit Stack Overflow site for resolution of your issues. That means there is no prompt vendor assistance for this because it's open source. Clear? And the major most disadvantage thing with Selenium is you need to know at least one programming language to do it. Clear? So Selenium does not provide support for integrating with test management tools like HPALM, Jira, etc. Yesterday, someone has asked this question, right? The Selenium is possible to integrate with Jira or HPALM. I guess we have that person in the house. No, I guess. Is Deepak around? No. So yesterday, someone has asked this question like, is Selenium is possible to integrate directly with Jira or some test management tools? Clear? And whenever new features are introduced in Selenium, there is no hard and fast rule that it always works as expected. That is why whenever we are working with Selenium, we always take a version that is released we always take a version that is given 2 releases prior. Suppose we are working with Selenium 4. There are two more releases happen for Selenium 4, that is 4.1 and 4.2. So we'll not use 4.1 and 4.2 because we don't know what kind of issues that we are facing, what kind of challenges that we need to tackle. Even the Selenium developers don't know what kind of issues might come. So for those reasons, we are using only the stable versions. When you're working with Selenium, you should not always take the latest versions. Clear? So it does not support automation of testing of video and audio. Clear with all the points so far related to Selenium disadvantages?
Yeah.
So hope everyone knows what is the SDLC, software development lifecycle. Could anyone give their insights about software development lifecycle?
Yeah, it is the sequence of process by which we operate our project. Like first we have to gather the requirement from the client, and then we analyze the requirement, and as you show us that then designing phase comes, and after designing architecture and all, then development started. And while development started, we started with test case writing, and then testing happens, and then we deploy the code to the environment. And
Mhm. So that's good, Mega. And whatever informations you have told about SDLC lifecycle is in short is really good. So coming to why are we discussing about SDLC? Most of the people know in the house that what is SDLC and what. So why are we discussing this kind of points here? Why? Because if you there I told you yesterday there is one requirement in most of the organizations that they want to build up a automation suite by the time project goes live. Yes or no? There's a requirement, right? In most of the companies, by the time project goes live, you need to have your automation suite ready into picture. Clear?
yeah,
So in this SDLC life cycle, we have to know what are the roles of automation at different levels. Because in project kickoff, initiation and gathering time, the role of automation will not be that much. But when it comes to analysis part of the application, by the time your framework you need to have the skeleton of your framework ready, and you have to check the delta for the cases from the previous project to the current project, like how the testers find the delta of the test cases. Delta means the difference of the test cases from the previous project to the current project. So in short, we'll also have to see what kind of framework enhancements needs to be done, what kind of new methodologies or new ideas needs to be implemented, and how much of an impact that will cost while developing the code, etc., etc. This kind of analysis needs to be done by the automation team during the analysis phase. And during the design phase, what happens is we'll be getting some wireframes, mock diagrams, mock UIs, and all. So based on the mock UIs, you can easily have a comparison with the previous UI and check out whether the application remains the same or not, whether we are going to hit a functionality change. We have to plan the things accordingly, right? Before we give the estimates to the higher management or higher officials. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? I guess. Have you understood this thing, everyone? How about others? Carl, Audi, Mega, Mahesh.
sorry, I was saying on mute. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, cool, Mega. So sometimes what happens means when it comes to automation, what happens means sometimes the developers also want to have a round of automation testing before, you can say they want to have a round of unit testing by the automation scripts before sending it to the testing team. Some developers would wish to do those kind of activities also, because and given the heat of deadlines, it is not possible for all the developers to do a unit testing manually. So what they do is they will extend the development deadlines and they'll increase their unit testing deadlines so that we as automation testers can start writing the basic scripting and basic analysis of the application via our automation scripts and check whether the sanity is working fine or not. Basically, unit test automation during the development phase is used for sanity check only, sanity check of the application only, not the exact testing of the application cannot be done during the development phase of the application. So as you know, once the application is handed over to testing team after some few sanity checks and few smoke and regression tests for the respective modules, by that time manual testing will be ready by the test cases development, and we will have a common KT session of what is the application about, what are the points, what are the things that has been deployed, and what is the functionality that we are going to work. So once they have written the test cases, we have to start working on the test cases accordingly. So by the time, if not in the current sprint, they expect us to start executing our automation scripts in the next sprint. Clear? So once the deployment is completed to the higher environments, then we have to run a round of smoke before handing over the code to the customers. Then operations and maintenance team will be looking after the code, the builds that has been deployed, and the work that should be going on. Clear, everyone?
Yeah,
So in short, the role of automation, in fact, if you see, the role of automation team is everywhere, like similar to testing team. Because as I said, automation testing is also development, and we need to be patient, like how we are patient with the development team also. So in order to avoid mishaps or any ad hoc behavior during the automation script, we plan a lot of things during the analysis and design phase. Then during the development and testing phase, we act aggressively and we start preparing the efficient and robust scripts. Clear?
Right.
So coming to the testing side, then this is one of the most important parts from the SDLC side. This is called SDLC software testing lifecycle. So could anyone help us in explaining these points or about SDLC, just to get your views about this?
I can.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So our first step is requirement analysis. In this, we do brainstorming session to understand the exact requirement of the software, and then test planning comes into picture, where we have to plan what we have to test, what we don't have to test, or we create a test plan as per that. If the automation is involved, what tool we will use, and all those things. So after that, we start with the test case development phase, where we start writing test cases. In manual and in automation, we already started with the scripts. And then once we are done with the test case development, then environment setup. We set up the environment in our system so that we will proceed with the testing, and we execute those test cases. And then if everything is well and everything is passed, we close that test cycle.
Okay. Thanks for the talk. It's really good. So as you have discussed prior in the SDLC lifecycle, during the software development, we have spoken about testing, whereas Mega said we have to based on the requirements analysis, we have to plan accordingly. Planning includes not only the how many test cases you need to have for this particular sprint or for this particular set of modules. You need to plan how many resources that you need, how many manual testing resources you need for this, how many automation resources you need for this project. Then we have to start developing the test cases, and when the manual testers are developing the test cases, we have to go hand in hand with manual testing team sometimes to understand the functionality, to take the KT and all the stuff. Granted, these days the organization are asking us to develop an automation suite. By the time the product is go live, you are prone for a lot of changes in your code and a lot of changes in your application. So therefore, after the test case development is done, then there will be a dedicated environment set up for the testing team, and we start executing our test cases. Once a clean approval is given by the manual team, then we'll start automating our the scripts as per their approval, and we finish our cycle. Clear?
Yeah, Rahul, I have a question. If like we have to select which tool we need to use for automation, like you said, there are a lot of cons, and you explained a lot of cons for the Selenium. So how we go with the Selenium if like if it is a web application, that image is, I think majorly web application have that image capturing thing, right? It should have, like
Yeah.
if this is cons with the Selenium, then what will be the alternate, and how we come to know that which tool will be good for it?
Can you give a scenario like you can say automating a captcha user?
Like you said, one of the cons is Selenium will not work for the audio and video, images and videos, right? Let's suppose I have to automate Mintra. Okay, so if I open a product, the image will be there, and I have to automate that thing, inspect that image. So will that work with the Selenium, or if it is not
Inspect
working
that
with
image at
Selenium?
the max. If you inspect that image at the max, that you can do is you can take the screenshot of that image, but you can't do any image processing for that, right?
Okay.
That's the max you can do with Selenium images. What do you mean by image processing exactly is, for example, if I want to automate a captcha, like by seeing the captcha, we enter the values, right? So if you want to expect the Selenium to do the same behavior, there is a remote possibility of doing it, but again, you have to use the MATLAB libraries and you have to integrate with Java and doing it. And it will be like a 7-8 months R&D course to do it, to achieve this
Okay.
image processing thing. So we are not in R&D, we are not given that much of a luxury to do that.
So
For
that will be
automating
done manually only, right? There is no
that will be
alternate
done
way.
manually, and when you want to automate that process, what we do is we disable the captcha and we run our test cases and we enable the captcha only during the production time. Clear?
Okay. Okay.
You can always request your management to disable the captcha for automation because it is not feasible via automation. they'll also understand it. Because they're end of the day, they also know about automation a bit, not completely.
Yeah.
Clear, everyone? Any other doubts for everyone? Like, any doubts, Mr. Gadala? You're not audible to me.
Rahul.
Okay. So we have discussed too much of theory, I guess, in the past 1.5 hour, past almost it's like 2 hours. So let's directly start with the Selenium suit that you're working on. So under the Selenium suite, we have 4 different tools: Selenium Ide, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Okay. So what is Selenium Ide? Let me note down the points. Just give me a minute. I have some points. I don't have notes, I believe. Okay. So what does Selenium? Okay. Let me increase the font first. Is this text visible, guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Selenium, okay. What is Selenium Ide? IDE stands for integrated development environment, or you can have a lot number of names for this. So it is the basic record and playback tool. It is one of the first tools invented by the Selenium team. And who is the owner of Selenium? Just a minute, I have to see. Oh God. Okay. Okay. It's developed by, so actually this guy Jason Huggins has developed this Selenium IDE tool because he was so bored in his office that he doesn't want to do any sort of manual testing, like how we have faced the challenges of doing manual testing. So this person, Mr. Jason Huggins, has invented this Selenium tool in 2004, and he was working at ThoughtWorks company. So he has invented the Selenium IDE tool as part of record and playback tool, and requires no coding knowledge and no coding editor. Easy to use for any layman person. Clear with the advantages of Selenium IDE? I will show you, I will give a small demo of it. That is not a problem.
Yeah.
I will give a small demo of it. So last point I would like to discuss. Selenium IDE was initially built for Firefox applications, but from 2019 onwards, they have given the feature for Chrome browser as well. Clear? Clear? Because these are the major points that they'll ask about Selenium IDE as part of the Selenium suit. No one will ask you to work with Selenium IDE, but for the sake of interview, they'll ask you. I don't know why still they ask you. This is just to test your history skills with respect to Selenium, I believe.
Okay.
So how do we run Selenium IDE first of all? So, okay, Selenium IDE is a plugin, by the way. Is a plugin in the browser. So you can type the word Selenium IDE for Chrome. Clear? Clear everyone? How are we searching for Selenium IDE for Chrome? So once you click on the Selenium IDE, so I already have this extension installed in my Chrome. Now first what I will do, I'll remove this from my Chrome browser. Okay. So now once again, when you click on Selenium IDE, this page will be open. This page will be open. As I told you, this is a plugin. You have to click on Add to Chrome. Clear everyone?
Yeah.
Then it'll ask for a pop-up like whether you want to add Selenium IDE or not. So if you want to add Selenium IDE, you can click on Add Extension. Once you click on Add Extension, are you able to see this icon here, guys? The extensions icon. Are you able to see this extensions icon, guys, at the right top?
Yes.
Oh. So you click on this extensions, you'll have the list of plugins here. So since I'm using something else, so I'll click on the Selenium IDE. So once I click on the Selenium IDE, this tool will be opened up. Clear? Clear everyone?
Yep.
I suggest people not to do parallelly. I want you to listen to the session first, then you can do it at a later point of time, because if you do things parallelly, you might miss some things that we are discussing in the session. Clear everyone? So I don't have any existing project. I don't have anything. So what I will do, I will record a new text in a new project. This is the first option that we are gonna select if you are using the Selenium IDE for the first time. Clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
So what I will give project name, I will give project name as 25th Feb demo. I'll give like this, and I can click on OK button. So you need to give the URL of the application that you're gonna record. So what I want to do, okay, okay, as our friend suggested, let me go for mantra. So you have to copy this URL and you have to paste it. Remember guys, whenever you're giving an URL, you have to give the HTTP or HTTPS protocol followed by the URL. Clear everyone? Without giving HTTP or HTTPS protocol, Selenium does not understand how to communicate with the browser. Clear everyone?
Yeah.
Now you click on start recording. So it will open the Mantra site in another application. So you can click on this clearance sale offer like this. Okay, I can't click. So sorry. So when okay, see, the page is unresponsive. This is the problem with Selenium IDE when you're working with dynamic application like Myntra.com. Here, this is another problem when you're working with heavier applications. So what I want to do, I want to record my scripts, everything again. So once again, I'll start my recording for this application. So once again, I'll give my URL of the application. I'll click on start recording. Okay. What's happening now? Okay, let me start the application freshly. I'll click on record new test. So when you're recording, wait till the page is loaded. I can select some brands. I can select some colors. Hope everyone is clear with the flows that you are going on, right? So what I want to do, I want to stop my recording now. If you want to stop your recording, I'll click on the stop button. Clear? Then I'll click on OK. Clear everyone? Now we have recorded a suit.
Yeah.
We have recorded one suit. So can we run the, can we play back these actions again now? Can we
Where it
play
is
back all
saved
these
now.
actions? Okay. Okay, where it is saved now. Just a minute, guys. Okay, we have to see. So by default, it will be generated in downloads folder. You can save it in your desktop side folder.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever Selenium ID whatever operations that you have performed on Selenium ID on its recording tool, it will be always saved with .side extensions. It will be saved with .side extensions. .side extension when okay. So if you want to run this if you want to play back this script again, are you able to see this play button? So it will run the application accordingly. So you have seen okay. You have seen the problem here, guys. Manually I was trying to hover on the men's screen. I mean, I was checking what is there in women's screen and men's screen, and I'm trying to change my actions dynamically. Then the code has failed. Have you seen the problem here? At the 7th step, it has failed.
Hmm.
Casually we hover on the application, right? Casually we hover on the application, like we go here. But what happens while recording? During the recording, it will be stuck here only. Here, if you dynamically change the values of the application during the recording time, it will be a problem. Yeah, that is the main
So that
disadvantage.
Tosca and other tool, it is also for static website, right?
Yeah, mostly static websites. Yes, all the paid tools work for static and enterprise-based applications.
And one more thing, Rahul, here, like if your default browser is IE, but IDE works for Chrome and Firefox only, so how it will, if we want to
Then you
rerun the
can't do any record and playback. Then we
okay,
have to. Then we'll discuss. We'll discuss those points. Okay.
okay.
This is the first tool of Selenium that we have that is being invented, and we'll discuss this points. Yeah. First we'll discuss this. Then we'll. That is the point I was about to gonna tell in tomorrow's session about Selenium RC and WebDriver. Clear? Now you've seen there's a lot of problem coming up, right? It waited for 30 seconds and the script got failed. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
So if you can see at the bottom, there is a log coming up. There's a default logging mechanism for the Selenium IDE. Clear? And you can see the reference also. You can see what are the reference points for click, etc. and all. So I would like to stop my execution suite. So if your recording is not proper, then you cannot change the values, like you cannot change the values abruptly in the middle. Like you want to remove this value, you want to edit this value, or you want to edit this value or something, you cannot abruptly change the values. What you have to do again, you have to remove this test case again. Sorry. You cannot abruptly execute this thing. So what we have to do is we have to re-record the test case again. So we have to wait till the application is loaded here, guys. Once the application is loaded, what I will do, I will click on mens. Again, I'll hover on mens. I'll click on casual t-shirts and I'll stop my recording till here. Wait a minute. So overall, you got the view and feel of what is Selenium Ide, guys, everyone, how the record and play happens.
Yes, Rahul.
Any other doubts you have, anyone so far that you have discussed? Any other doubts, anyone? If we don't have any other doubts, then we'll have to regroup on Monday then, and on Saturday, Sunday we'll not have any classes or sessions. Clear?
Yeah, Rahul, one more thing. Is it included in our course that check-in of code and that GitHub and everything? Because I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Coming to those points related to Git, actually the concept varies from one organization to another organization. Like you can ask me later, I'll give you some basic Git commands like git clone, git commit, git push. We can all do such things, and in fact, when you use IntelliJ, it is very easy to use Git.
Okay,
I'll just give
means
you a briefing.
anything where we used to check in, because I know only this thing, so I asked you about this.
Because they use a lot of repositories these days. They use Git, Gitbucket, JFrog. What all they are using also, I don't know. So coming to the repository more, if possible, I'll just give an overview of Git, if possible.
Okay.
I can't guarantee, but if possible.
Okay.
So no questions to everyone, right? Carl, Ari, Mahesh, Shruti, Pratiksha, Mahesh, no doubts, I guess, believe. I couldn't hear you, Mr. Kadala. Okay, then we'll regroup on Monday for more details about Selenium IDE as well as Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver. So once we finish all these things, basics, then we'll go with the setup of our Maven project and all. Clear, everyone?
Okay.
Okay, then we'll regroup on Monday. So see everyone and have a great weekend ahead.
You too. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.